I heard the owls first. 2 of them, calling from the cottonwoods behind the garage. It was 11:17 p.m. I know, because I checked my phone when I got up to refill Laura's water glass. The kitchen light was still on. Abel was standing at the counter, his back to me, pouring something from a small amber bottle into his palm. He didn't hear me. The floor didn't creak where I stood. "From now on, Mom," he said, not turning around, his voice low and flat. "I'll dissolve your pills in your water. You don't need to be lucid, just quiet." I swallowed, didn't say a word, just backed into the hallway, bare feet on cold tile, and waited until I heard him climb the stairs to his room above the garage. Before we continue, tell me where you're watching from in the comments. I love seeing how far our stories reach. And if you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe. New stories every day. Then I walked into the kitchen, poured the water from Laura's glass into the sink, refilled it from the tap, and went to bed. I didn't sleep. At 6:40 a.m. I got up, made coffee, scrambled 3 eggs. Laura was still asleep. The house smelled like old wood and propane heat. I set 2 glasses of water on the kitchen table, both identical, both filled to the same line. Then I sat down with my coffee and waited. Abel came in at 7:15, hair wet from the shower, wearing the Carhartt jacket I'd bought him in 2019. He looked at the table, then at me. "Morning," he said. I nodded toward the glasses. "Thirsty?" He stared. His hand hovered over the left one, then the right. He picked up the right glass, drank half in one pull, set it down. I watched his pupils. He watched mine. "Sleep okay?" I asked. "Fine." I finished my coffee. He sat down across from me, pulled out his phone, scrolled. 2 minutes passed, then 4. His head dropped forward. The phone slipped from his hand onto the table. His breathing slowed, deepened. He slumped sideways in the chair. I stood, walked around, checked his pulse. Strong, regular. I tilted his head back, made sure his airway was clear, then dragged him to the couch in the living room. Covered him with the fleece blanket his mother bought at Costco 3 years ago, back when she still remembered what Costco was. I locked the side door that led to the garage, pocketed the key. Then I went back to the kitchen, picked up my old phone, the Samsung I'd kept in a drawer after upgrading in 2021, plugged it in, and set it on the windowsill above the sink, camera facing the table. I opened the voice recorder app, hit record, and left it there. Laura woke at 9 so. I helped her to the bathroom, changed her shirt, brought her oatmeal with brown sugar. She ate slowly, looking out the window at the backyard. The leaves were turning. She used to love October. "Where's Abel?" she asked. "Sleeping." "He's a good boy." I didn't answer. Abel woke at 3:30 p.m. I was sitting in the recliner near the couch, reading the newspaper. He sat up fast, looked around, touched his face. "What the hell?" he said. I turned a page. "Did you drug me?" I folded the paper, set it on the side table. "You tell me." He stood, swayed, grabbed the arm of the couch. "You're insane." "Maybe." This is fucking psychotic." I didn't respond. He stared at me for a long time, breathing hard, then walked to the side door, tried the handle. Locked. He turned. "Give me the key." "No." "Dad, give me the key." I looked at him. His face was pale. His hands were shaking. Not from withdrawal. Abel had been clean for 7 months or so, he'd told me. This was something else. "You can use the front door," I said. He walked past me, grabbed his jacket from the hook, slammed the front door hard enough to rattle the frame. I heard his truck start, heard gravel spray as he pulled out onto the street. I sat there for another 20 minutes. Then I got up, retrieved the phone from the kitchen, stopped the recording, and saved the file. 14 hours and 11 minutes. I labeled it 10 to 24:22 and uploaded it to a folder in my Google Drive marked Household. Laura was in the bedroom, lying on top of the covers, staring at the ceiling. I sat on the edge of the bed. "Jax?" she said. "Yeah." "Did something happen?" "No." She reached for my hand. Her skin was cold. I held it until her eyes closed, until her breathing evened out. Then I let go, walked to the kitchen, and poured myself a glass of water from the tap. The owls started again just after dark. I stood on the back porch, hands in my pockets, watching the cottonwoods sway in the wind. The air smelled like wood smoke and frost. Across the yard, The garage light was off. Abel hadn't come back. I pulled the phone from my pocket, not the old one, the new one, and scrolled to my sister Karen's contact, stared at her name for a long time. Then I put the phone away and went back inside. Laura was still asleep. I checked the locks on all the doors, turned off the kitchen light, and sat down at the table in the dark. The 2 water glasses were still there, side by side, one empty, one full. I picked up the full one and poured it into the sink. Then I sat back down and waited. Abel came back on the 3rd day. I was in the backyard, raking leaves into a pile near the fence. The cottonwoods had dropped half their canopy overnight. Laura was inside, watching a cooking show she wouldn't remember in an hour. I heard his truck before I saw it. He parked on the street, not in the driveway. Walked around the side of the house instead of coming through the front. When he rounded the corner, he stopped 10 feet away, hands in his pockets. "We need to talk," he said. I kept raking. "Dad." I looked up. "About what?" "About what you did." "What I did?" "Yeah." He stepped closer. "That psychotic shit with the glasses. You drugged me. I put water in 2 glasses. You chose one." His jaw tightened. "You know what I meant." "Do I?" He exhaled hard, looked away. "Look, I shouldn't have said that stuff about Mom. I was tired. I didn't mean it." I leaned the rake against the fence. "What stuff?" "You know. Say it." He stared at me. "I don't remember exactly, and we don't have anything to talk about." I picked up the rake, went back to work. He stood there for another minute, then walked to the back door, tried the handle. Locked. He turned. "You lock me out?" "Side door's open. The side door goes to the garage. That's where you live." He didn't move. The wind picked up, scattering leaves across the yard. I could hear the owls starting early, even in daylight, a low hoot from the branches above. "I'm trying to apologize," Abel said. "Okay. That's it? Okay." I looked at him. "You want something else?" He shook his head, turned, and walked back around the house. I heard his truck start, heard him pull away. I finished raking, bagged the leaves, and went inside. Laura was asleep in the recliner. The TV was still on. I turned it off, covered her with the fleece blanket, and went to the kitchen. The laptop, mine and Laura's, the one we'd shared since 2017, was sitting on the counter where I'd left it that morning. I opened it, typed in the password, and checked the browser history. Abel had used it 2 days ago at 11:43 p.m. while I'd been asleep. He'd Googled Emergency Guardianship Idaho, how to get power of attorney, and elderly parent cognitive decline legal rights. I sat down. I opened a new tab, searched Guardianship Abuse Idaho, read for an hour. Then I created a new folder on the desktop, labeled it Records, and started taking screenshots. Browser history, search terms, timestamps. I saved everything as PDFs, dated and numbered. Then I opened my email and scrolled back 3 weeks. There was a message I'd missed, buried under spam. Subject line, RE consultation request. Sender, decline lawyer.com. The body of the email was short. Abel, confirming our call on 10/18. As discussed, emergency guardianship requires proof of immediate harm or inability to consent. Medical eval is critical. Documentation of incidents, wandering, aggression, missed meds, will strengthen your petition. No fee for initial filing if we go through probate. Let me know when you're ready. DK. I read it twice. Then I forwarded it to myself, deleted the forward notification from the sent folder, and closed the laptop. I stood at the kitchen window for a long time, looking out at the garage. The light was on now. Abel was home. That night, after Laura was in bed, I went to the closet in the hallway and pulled down a cardboard box from the top shelf. Inside were files from my parents' estate, deeds, wills, probate records from 2015. I hadn't looked at them in years. I spread them out on the kitchen table, found what I needed, the name of the attorney who'd handled the estate. Margaret Chen, Boise Family Law. I called her office the next morning, left a message. She called back at 2 p.m. "Mr. Hale," she said. "It's been a while." "It has." "What can I do for you?" I told her. "Not everything, just enough." She listened without interrupting. When I finished, there was a pause. "Do you have documentation?" she asked. "Yes." "Good, bring it in. I'll take a look." Is this something that happens? What he's trying. More than you'd think, she said. Usually it's about money. Sometimes it's about control. Occasionally both. What do I do? Keep documenting. Don't confront him directly. If he files, we'll respond. If he doesn't, we prepare anyway. How much time do I have? Hard to say. If he gets a doctor to sign off on an evaluation, things move fast. But most doctors won't, not without seeing the patient themselves. I thanked her, hung up, and added her contact to my phone. Karen called that evening. My sister. We hadn't spoken in 2 months. Jax, she said. How's Laura? Same. And you? Fine. You don't sound fine. I didn't answer. She waited. Abel called me, she said. I set down my coffee. When? Yesterday. Asked if I thought you were handling things okay. Said you'd been acting paranoid. What did you tell him? I told him I'd call you and ask. And I'm asking. I looked out the window. The garage light was off. Abel's truck was gone. I need copies of Mom and Dad's probate records, I said. The full file. Karen was quiet for a moment. Why? I just do. Jax. Karen, please. She exhaled. I'll scan them tonight. Send them tomorrow. Thank you. Are you in trouble? No. Is Abel? I didn't answer. She didn't push. I'm here if you need me, she said. I know. We hung up. I sat at the table, hands folded, staring at the 2 water glasses I'd left there since the first night. Both empty now. I picked them up, washed them, dried them, and put them back in the cabinet. Then I went to the bedroom, checked on Laura, still asleep, and retrieved the old Samsung from the kitchen windowsill. The recording was still saved. I played it back, skipping ahead to the timestamp, 11:17 p.m., October 24th. Abel's voice low and clear. From now on, Mom, I'll dissolve your pills in your water. You don't need to be lucid. Just quiet. I stopped the playback, saved the file again, and uploaded a second copy to a separate cloud account I'd created that afternoon. The next morning, I installed a camera. Small, wireless, motion-activated. I bought it at Best Buy with cash, mounted it on the bookshelf in the living room, angled toward the couch in the hallway. The app connected to my phone. I tested it twice, then hid the box in the trash outside. Laura woke at 10 k. I made her oatmeal, helped her to the bathroom, sat with her while she ate. She looked at me for a long time, her expression soft and distant. You're worried about something, she said. No. You are, I can tell. I didn't argue. She reached across the table, touched my hand. It'll be okay, she said. I nodded. She smiled, then looked out the window, and the moment passed. By the time she finished eating, she'd forgotten the conversation entirely. That afternoon, Abel came back. I was in the garage, organizing tools on the workbench, when I heard the side door open. He stood in the doorway, backlit by the autumn sun. I need to talk to Mom, he said. She's resting. I'll wait. No. He stepped inside. Dad, I'm not asking. I set down the wrench I'd been holding. You don't live here anymore. What are you talking about? You heard me. His face changed. You can't kick me out. I can. I did. This is my house too. No, I said. It's not. He stared at me, breathing hard. Then he turned and walked back outside, slammed the door. I heard his truck start, heard him peel out onto the street. I locked the side door from the inside, pocketed the key, and went back to the house. The camera had captured everything. The letter came on a Tuesday. Plain white envelope, no return address, postmarked Boise. Inside was a single sheet of paper, printed, unsigned. Appointment scheduled for Laura Hale, November 15th, 2022, 2:00 p.m. Dr. Richard Voss, psychiatric evaluation. Sage Creek Medical Center, 4400 W. Emerald Saint, please bring patient ID and insurance card. I read it twice. Then I called the number at the bottom of the page. A receptionist answered. I gave Laura's name, asked about the appointment. Yes, Mr. Hale, she said. Your son called last week. He mentioned concerns about your wife's cognition and safety. Dr. Voss agreed to see her. My son doesn't have medical power of attorney. A pause. I see. Let me pull the file. I waited, Heard typing, a chair creak. It says here the appointment was requested by Abel Hale, listed as primary caregiver. There's a note that the patient's husband may be experiencing caregiver burnout and exhibiting paranoid behavior. I closed my eyes. Who wrote that note? It's in the intake form, signed by your son. Cancel the appointment. Sir, Cancel it. I'm Laura's husband. I'm her medical proxy. Cancel the appointment. Another pause. I'll need to speak with Dr. Voss. Can you hold? No. Cancel it now, or I'll file a complaint with the medical board. One moment. The line went silent. 2 minutes later, she came back. The appointment has been canceled, she said. I apologize for the confusion. I hung up. I sat at the kitchen table, staring at the letter. Laura was in the bedroom napping. The house was quiet, except for the hum of the refrigerator and the wind rattling the window frames. I took a photo of the letter, uploaded it to the records folder, then folded it and put it in a manila envelope with the rest. That afternoon, I drove to the bank, First Security, the branch on Fairview. I'd been putting it off for 2 weeks, telling myself it was paranoia, but the intake form had said primary caregiver, and Abel hadn't been paying rent on the garage since August. I walked up to the counter, asked for account statements going back 6 months. The teller printed them without comment. I took them to my truck, sat in the parking lot, and read. Withdrawals. Cash mostly. $300 here, $500 there. Some ATM, some in-branch. August, on $200. September, $1,400. October, $1,600. All signed by Abel Hale. I flipped to the signature cards at the back. There it was, a power of attorney form, dated July 12, 2022, granting Abel Hale authority to access the joint account. My signature at the bottom. Except, I'd never signed it. I held the paper up to the light. The pen strokes were close. Too close. Someone had traced my signature from another document, probably the mortgage refinance we'd done in 2021. The loops were identical, but the pressure was wrong. Too light. I drove back to the house, scanned the document, saved it. Then I called Margaret Chen. I need to see you, I said. When? Today. She was quiet for a moment. I have an opening at 4:30. I'll be there. Her office was in a low brick building near the courthouse. I brought the folder, the letter, the bank statements, the power of attorney, the email from DK, the screenshots from the laptop. I spread them out on her desk. She read through everything, making notes on a yellow pad. When she finished, she looked up. This is fraud, she said. I know. The power of attorney is forged. The withdrawals are unauthorized. If you want, we can file a police report. Not yet. Why not? Because I want to know what else he's done. She nodded slowly. Fair, but you need to act fast. If he files for guardianship, this gets complicated. A judge might freeze assets pending investigation. How do I prevent that? Move the money. Open a new account in your name only. Transfer everything. Close the joint account. What about Laura? She's your wife. You're her legal proxy. You have the right to manage her finances. I thought about it. What if he's already filed? Then we'll know soon. Guardianship petitions are public record. I can check tomorrow. Do it. She made another note. In the meantime, keep documenting everything. And if he contacts you, record it. I already am. She looked at me. Good. I stopped at the bank on the way home, opened a new account, transferred $18,000, the remaining balance from Laura's life insurance payout in 2020, closed the joint account. The manager asked if everything was okay. I said yes. When I got home, Abel's truck was in the driveway. He was sitting on the front steps, arms resting on his knees. He looked up when I parked, didn't stand. We need to talk, he said. I walked past him, unlocked the front door. Dad. I stopped, didn't turn around. I know what you did at the bank, he said. I looked back. How? They called me, said you closed the account. It wasn't your account. I had access. You forged my signature. He stood up. I didn't forge anything. Yes, you did. His face went red. You're losing it. You know that? You're paranoid. You're controlling. And you're putting Mom at risk. I didn't respond. He stepped closer. I talked to a doctor. He said you're exhibiting signs of caregiver psychosis. You need help. What doctor? Dr. Voss. You mean the doctor whose appointment I canceled? He stopped. You can't keep doing this. Doing what? Blocking me out. I'm her son. And I'm her husband. You're not capable of taking care of her. I looked at him for a long time. Get off my property. What? Leave. Now. He laughed bitter. Or what? I pulled my phone from my pocket, opened the camera app, and started recording. You're trespassing, I said. I'm asking you to leave. If you don't, I'll call the police. He stared at the phone, then at me. His jaw worked. You're making a mistake. Leave. He turned, walked to his truck, got in, sat there for a minute with the engine running. Then he backed out and drove away. I stopped the recording, saved it, and went inside. Laura was awake, sitting in the recliner staring at the TV. It wasn't on. I sat on the couch across from her. Laura, I said. She looked at me. Her eyes were clear, but distant. Do you know who I am? She smiled, faint. Of course. Who? She hesitated. You're the man who takes care of me, not Jack's, not my husband. I nodded. That's right. Where's Abel? He's not here. Oh. She looked back at the TV. I thought I heard his voice. You did. He left. He's a good boy. I didn't answer. She reached for my hand, held it loosely. Her grip was weak. Are you tired? I asked. A little. I helped her to the bedroom, changed her into pajamas, tucked her in. She was asleep in minutes. I stood in the doorway, watching her breathe. The room smelled like lavender and dust. The blinds were half drawn, letting in strips of gray November light. I went back to the kitchen, opened the laptop, and checked my email. Karen had sent the probate files, 237 pages, scanned and organized. I downloaded them, saved them to the records folder. Then I opened the app for the living room camera and scrolled back through the day's footage. Abel had come inside while I was at the bank. He'd stood in the hallway for 2 minutes, looking toward the bedroom, then walked to the kitchen and opened drawers, searched the counter, the table, the shelves, looking for something. I watched the rest. He'd left empty-handed, frustrated. I saved the video, labeled it 11/08/22, unlawful entry, and uploaded it. Then I sat back and stared at the ceiling. The owls started just after dark. I went to the back porch, stood in the cold, watched the cottonwoods sway. The garage was dark. Abel was gone. I pulled the phone from my pocket, scrolled to Margaret Chen's contact, and typed a message. He came to the house today. Accused me of caregiver psychosis. I have it recorded. What's next? She replied 10 minutes later. Restraining order. I'll draft the petition tomorrow. Bring everything to my office at 9 a.m. I typed back, okay. Then I put the phone away and went inside. Laura was still asleep. I locked every door, checked every window, turned off all the lights except the one in the kitchen. Then I sat at the table in the dark and waited for morning. Margaret Chen's office at 9 a.m. I brought the folder, now 3 inches thick. 3. She reviewed the new materials, the unlawful entry video, the bank statements, the recording from the front steps, and made notes in precise handwriting. This is enough, she said. We'll file for a temporary protection order. Civil, not criminal. It keeps him away from the house, from Laura, and from you. If he violates it, then it becomes criminal. How long does it take? Hearings usually within 10 days. Judge reviews the evidence, hears both sides. If it's granted, it's enforceable immediately. What if he doesn't show up? Default judgment. Order stands. I nodded. She pulled a form from a drawer, started filling it in by hand. Name. Address. Relationship to petitioner. Description of threatening behavior. I watched her write. Does Abel have a lawyer? She asked. Yes, someone named DK. I have the email. She looked up. David Klein? Maybe. It was DK Line lawyer.com. She exhaled through her nose. He's not a real attorney. He's a paralegal who got disbarred in Oregon in 2019. Works out of a strip mall on Orchard. He files guardianship petitions for people who can't afford real representation. Is that legal? Technically, no. But he's hard to catch. He doesn't appear in court, just prepares documents. If Abel paid him, there's probably a petition sitting in probate right now. waiting to be filed. Can you check? I already did, yesterday. She opened her laptop, turned it toward me. Here, a scanned document. Petition for emergency guardianship and conservatorship, filed November 7, 2022. Petitioner, Abel Hale. Proposed ward, Laura Hale. Grounds: cognitive decline, unsafe living conditions, caregiver neglect. I read the rest. It said I'd been verbally abusive, that I'd isolated Laura from family, that I'd mismanaged her finances. It said Abel was the only person capable of providing appropriate care. At the bottom, a hearing date, November 21st, 2022, 2 weeks away. They already filed, I said. Yes. Why didn't anyone tell me? Because they served you, or tried to. Check your door, I thought back. Yesterday morning, there'd been a manila envelope taped to the screen door. I'd assumed it was junk mail, left it on the counter. I'd thrown it away that afternoon without opening it. I didn't see it, I said. Doesn't matter. Service by posting counts in Idaho. The clock's running. I looked at the screen. What do? We file a response. We present your evidence. We show the judge that Abel's a fraud and you're the competent caregiver. And we hope. Hope. Guardianship cases are unpredictable. Judges err on the side of caution. If there's any question about Laura's safety, they'll appoint a temporary guardian pending investigation. That could be Abel. Or it could be a neutral third party. Not me? Not if Abel's painting you as unstable. I sat back. So what's the restraining order for? Leverage. If Abel's under a protection order, the judge is less likely to grant him guardianship. It shows a pattern of harassment and deception. I nodded. She closed the laptop. I'll file this today, she said, holding up the petition. You'll get a hearing notice within a week. In the meantime, do not engage with Abel. Do not respond to texts, calls, or emails. If he shows up at your house, call the police and call me. Okay. And Jax? She looked at me. If Laura's condition worsens, if she has a medical emergency, if she wanders, if anything happens, document it. Time, date, witnesses. Because Abel will use it against you. I drove home, parked in the driveway, and sat in the truck for 10 minutes. The house looked smaller than it had that morning. The paint was peeling near the eaves. The lawn needed mowing. The cottonwoods were almost bare. Inside, Laura was awake, sitting at the kitchen table, staring at a bowl of cereal. The milk had gone warm. I poured it out, refilled the bowl, sat down across from her. Good morning, I said. She looked at me. Good morning. Did you sleep okay? I think so. I watched her eat. She moved slowly, mechanically. After 3 bites, she set the spoon down. I'm not hungry, she said. That's okay. She looked around the kitchen. Where's Abel? He doesn't live here anymore. Oh, she frowned. Why not? Because he made some bad choices. What kind of choices? I didn't answer. She picked up the spoon again, then set it down. I'm tired. I helped her back to the bedroom, tucked her in. She was asleep before I closed the door. At 1:00 p.m., my phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. You think you're smart. You're not. I know what you're doing and it won't work. A. I took a screenshot, forwarded it to Margaret Chen, then blocked the number. 5 minutes later, another text. Different number. Mom deserves better than you. You're killing her. A. Screenshot. Forward. Block. Then my phone rang. I didn't recognize the number, but I answered. Mr. Hale? A woman's voice. Professional. This is Angela Pruitt with Idaho Adult Protective Services. I'm calling about a report we received regarding Laura Hale. I stood up. What kind of report? A concerned party filed a complaint alleging neglect and unsafe living conditions. I'm required to investigate. I'd like to schedule a home visit. Who filed the complaint? I can't disclose that information. It was my son. A pause. Mr. Hale, I'm not at liberty to... It was him, and the complaint is false. That may be, but I still need to conduct a welfare check. Are you available tomorrow at 10 a.m.? I exhaled. Yes, good. I'll see you then. She hung up. I set the phone on the counter, stared at it for a long time. Then I walked through the house, room by room, checked for anything that could be considered neglect. Dishes in the sink, I washed them. Dust on the shelves. I wiped it down. Laura's medication bottles on the bathroom counter. I organized them, labeled them, lined them up. I vacuumed the living room, cleaned the kitchen floor, changed the sheets on Laura's bed. By the time I finished, it was 6 p.m. The house smelled like bleach and air freshener. I made dinner. Chicken, rice, steamed broccoli. Laura ate a few bites, then pushed the plate away. "I want to go to bed," she said. I helped her change, brushed her teeth, tucked her in. She was asleep in minutes. At 8 p.m., Karen called. "I'm in Boise," she said. "Why?" "Because you need help. I'm staying at the Hampton Inn on Fairview. I'll be at your house tomorrow morning at 9. Karen, you don't have to." "Yes, I do. You can't do this alone." I didn't argue. "Okay. How's Laura?" "Not good." "And you?" "I'm fine." "Jax." I didn't answer. She waited. "I'll see you tomorrow," she said. We hung up. I sat at the kitchen table, opened the laptop, and checked the bank account. The $18,000 was still there, untouched. Then I opened the camera app and scrolled through the day's footage. Nothing. No one had come to the house. I checked my email. 3 messages from Decline Lawyer all sent to Abel. Margaret Chen had forwarded them. The first was dated November 8th. "Abel, heard you're having trouble with your dad. Let me know if you want to escalate. We can file for emergency removal if the situation's unsafe. $500 retainer. DK." The second was dated November 10th. "Abel, APS report filed. Should hear back within 48 hours. Stay off the property for now. Let them do their job. DK." The third was dated today, November 12th. "Abel, your dad hired Margaret Chen. She's good. This just got harder. We need to move fast. Call me. DK." I forwarded all 3 to Margaret Chen with a 1-word message. Received. She replied 5 minutes later. "Good. This helps." Karen arrived at 9 the next morning. She let herself in with the spare key I'd given her in 2018. She hugged me at the door, stepped back, looked at me. "You look terrible," she said. "Thanks." "Where's Laura?" "Sleeping." She walked through the house, checked the kitchen, the living room, the bedroom. She opened the fridge, looked inside, closed it, opened the medicine cabinet, counted bottles, came back to the kitchen. "The house looks good," she said. "APS is coming at 10 hours. "I know. I'll stay." At 10:15, Angela Pruitt knocked. I opened the door. She was in her 40s, wearing a blazer and carrying a clipboard. Karen stood behind me. "Mr. Hale," Angela said. "And you are?" "Karen Moss, Jax's sister." Angela nodded, made a note. "May I come in?" I stepped aside. She walked through the house slowly, methodically. Checked the kitchen, the bathroom, the bedroom. She asked to see Laura. I woke her gently, helped her sit up. Angela asked her questions: name, date, where she was. Laura answered 2 out of 3. Angela made notes. Then she thanked Laura, let her go back to sleep. In the kitchen, Angela set her clipboard on the table. "Mr. Hale, I don't see any evidence of neglect. The home is clean, Laura is cared for, her medications are properly managed. I'll close the case." I exhaled. "Thank you. However," she looked at me, "I'm required to note that Laura's condition is declining. Have you considered additional support? In-home care? Adult day services?" "I've thought about it. I'd recommend it. For both of you." She handed me a pamphlet, shook my hand, and left. Karen sat down across from me. "You okay?" I nodded. "What's next?" "Court, November 21st. I'll be there." "You don't have to." "I do." I looked at her. "Thank you." She reached across the table, squeezed my hand. "We'll get through this." I wanted to believe her. 3 days before the hearing, I found the contract. I was going through the mail, mostly junk, some bills, when I saw the return address, Coldwell Banker, Boise. Inside was a letter addressed to Abel Hale, POA for Jackson Hale. "Dear Mr. Hale, thank you for your interest in listing the property at 2847 Cottonwood Drive. As discussed, we're prepared to move forward with an asking price of $425,000. Please review the attached seller's agreement and return the signed documents at your earliest convenience. We look forward to working with you." Attached was a 6-page contract. At the bottom of page 4, a signature line. Jackson Hale, owner. And below it, a signature. Mine. Forged. I sat down. I took photos of every page, uploaded them, then called Margaret Chen. She answered on the second ring. "He's trying to sell the house," I said. "When?" "Now. I just got the paperwork." "Forward it to me. I'll add it to the filing." I did. Then I sat at the table for a long time, staring at the contract. The signature was better this time. Closer. But still wrong. The J was too narrow, the X too wide. Karen came in from the living room. "What's that?" I handed her the contract. She read it, flipped through the pages, set it down. "Jesus," she said. "Yeah." "Does he know you have this?" "Not yet." She looked at me. "What are you going to do?" "Show it to the judge." November 21st, the hearing was at 2 p.m. at the Ada County Courthouse. Margaret Chen met us in the lobby at 1:30. She was carrying a leather briefcase and a cardboard box full of files. "Is all of that evidence?" Karen asked. "Most of it," Margaret said. "The rest is case law." We took the elevator to the 3rd floor, walked down a long hallway to courtroom 7. The door was closed. We waited on a bench outside. At 1:50, Abel arrived. He was alone. No lawyer, no DK. He wore a button-down shirt and khakis, his hair combed back. He saw us, stopped, then kept walking, and sat on the bench across the hall. Karen stared at him. He didn't look up. At 2:00, the bailiff opened the door and called the case. In the matter of Hale, guardianship petition. We walked in. The courtroom was small, wood-paneled, fluorescent lit. The judge sat behind a raised desk, a woman in her 60s with short gray hair and reading glasses. Her nameplate said Honor Catherine Moreau. We sat at the left table. Abel sat at the right. The judge looked at both sides. "Mr. Abel Hale, you're representing yourself?" Abel stood. "Yes, Your Honor." "And Mr. Jackson Hale, you're represented by Ms. Chen?" I stood. "Yes, Your Honor." "Very well. Mr. Abel Hale, this is your petition. You may proceed." Abel cleared his throat. He pulled a folder from his bag, opened it, and began to read. "Your Honor, I'm here because my mother, Laura Hale, is not safe. She has dementia. She can't take care of herself. My father refuses to get her professional help. He's isolated her from family. He's mismanaged her finances. Mr. Hale," the judge interrupted. "Do you have evidence of these claims?" Abel hesitated. "I have. Observations. I've seen her decline. I've tried to help, but my father won't let me." "Do you have medical records? Financial documents? Witness statements?" "No, Your Honor, but I filed a report with Adult Protective Services. They investigated." "And what was the outcome?" Abel looked down. "They closed the case." "Why?" "I don't know." The judge made a note. "Ms. Chen, your response?" Margaret stood. "Your Honor, this petition is not only without merit. It's part of a pattern of fraud, harassment, and attempted financial exploitation. I'd like to present evidence." "Go ahead." Margaret opened the briefcase. She pulled out the first document, the forged power of attorney. She handed a copy to the judge, a copy to Abel. "This is a POA dated July 12th, 2022, granting Mr. Abel Hale access to his parents' joint bank account. The signature is forged. We have expert analysis confirming it." She pulled out the second document, the bank statements. "Between August and October, Mr. Abel Hale withdrew $4,200 from that account without authorization. We have transaction records, ATM photos, and timestamps." Abel stood. "That's not—" "Sit down, Mr. Hale," the judge said. He sat. Margaret continued. "Third, we have a recorded threat." She pulled out a transcript of the October 24th recording. "On this date, Mr. Abel Hale told his mother, and I quote, 'I'll dissolve your pills in your water. You don't need to be lucid, just quiet.'" The judge looked up. "You have the recording?" "Yes, Your Honor." Margaret handed her a USB drive, audio and transcript. The judge inserted the drive into her laptop, played the file. Abel's voice filled the courtroom. When it ended, the judge removed the drive and set it on her desk. "Continue," she said. Margaret pulled out the email from DK, the texts, the unlawful entry video, the fake psychiatric appointment letter, And finally, the house sale contract. On November 18th, Mr. Abel Hale attempted to sell his father's home without authorization, using another forged signature. The real estate agent was unaware of the fraud. We've notified them, and they've withdrawn the listing. She handed the contract to the judge. The judge read it, flipped through the pages, set it down. "Mr. Abel Hale," she said, "do you have anything to say?" Abel stood. His hands were shaking. I was trying to help. My mom needs care. My dad can't do it alone. I wanted to make sure she was okay. By forging his signature? By stealing his money? By threatening to sedate your mother?" Abel didn't answer. The judge leaned back. "Ms. Chen, what are you asking for?" "Denial of the guardianship petition, issuance of a permanent restraining order, and referral to the prosecutor's office for criminal charges, forgery, theft, attempted fraud." The judge looked at Abel. "Mr. Hale, you understand that what you've done is illegal." Abel nodded. "I'm denying your petition. I'm granting the restraining order. You are prohibited from contacting Mr. or Mrs. Hale, from coming within 500 feet of their residence, and from accessing any of their financial accounts. If you violate this order, you will be arrested. Do you understand?" "Yes, Your Honor. I'm also referring this matter to the Ada County prosecutor. You'll be contacted within 30 days. This hearing is concluded." She banged the gavel. Abel stood, walked out without looking at us. In the hallway, Karen hugged me. Margaret shook my hand. "That went well," she said. "What happens now?" I asked. "The prosecutor reviews the evidence. If they file charges, there'll be a criminal case. Worst case for Abel is probation and restitution. Best case for you is he stays away." "What if he doesn't?" "Then he goes to jail." I nodded. Karen squeezed my shoulder. "Let's go home," she said. We stopped at the house to check on Laura. She was asleep in the recliner, the TV on low. I turned it off, covered her with the blanket. Karen made coffee. We sat at the kitchen table, not talking. After a while, my phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. "I'm sorry, I didn't mean for it to go this far. I just wanted to help. I need help. Please, A." I showed it to Karen. She read it, handed the phone back. "Are you going to respond?" she asked. I stared at the message for a long time. Then I set the phone on the table, screen down. "Not yet," I said. That night, after Karen left, I sat on the back porch. The owls were calling again. The cottonwoods were bare, black against the November sky. The air smelled like snow. Laura was asleep inside. The house was locked. The camera was recording. I pulled out my phone, opened the message from Abel, read it again. "I need help." I thought about the forged signatures, the stolen money, the threats. I thought about Laura not recognizing me. I thought about the hearing, the judge's voice, Abel's hands shaking. I typed a reply. "I know." Then I deleted it and put the phone away. The wind picked up. The owls went silent. I stood, walked inside, locked the door behind me. In the kitchen, I poured a glass of water from the tap. I held it up to the light, looked through it. Clear, clean. I set it on the counter and went to bed. 3 weeks later, the prosecutor's office called. They were filing charges: forgery, theft, attempted fraud. Abel would be arraigned in January. They asked if I wanted to testify. I said yes. Then they offered a deal: restitution, probation, mandatory counseling. No jail time. They said Abel's lawyer, a real one this time, was recommending it. "What do you think?" the prosecutor asked. I thought about it. "I'll accept it," I said, "on one condition." "What's that?" "He stays in treatment. If he quits, the deal's off." "I'll add it to the terms." "Good." We hung up. I sat at the table staring at the phone. Karen called that night. "I heard," she said. "How do you feel?" "Tired." "That's fair." He sent another message. Asked if we could talk. "What'd you say?" "Nothing yet." She was quiet for a moment. "You don't owe him anything, Jax." "I know, but if you want to respond, that's okay too." I didn't answer. "Get some rest," she said. "I'll call you tomorrow." I went to the bedroom. Laura was awake, staring at the ceiling. "Jax?" she said. I stopped. She hadn't said my name in weeks. "Yeah," I said. "I had a dream." "What about?" "I don't remember." She looked at me. "But you were there." I sat on the edge of the bed, took her hand. "I'm here now," I said. She smiled, faint, and closed her eyes. I stayed there until she fell asleep. Then I got up, turned off the light, and went back to the kitchen. The glass of water was still on the counter. I picked it up, drank half, poured the rest into the sink. Then I sat down at the table and waited for morning. Laura died on a Tuesday in March. Not sudden, not violent. Pneumonia, the doctor said. Her lungs had been weak for months. She'd stopped eating regularly in February, stopped recognizing faces in late January. By the end, she was sleeping 20 hours a day. I was with her when it happened. Hospice had set up a bed in the living room so she could see the windows, the light. Karen was there too, sitting on the couch with a book she wasn't reading. Laura's breathing changed at 3:47 p.m. Slower, shallow. I held her hand. She didn't open her eyes. At 4:02 she stopped. The hospice nurse checked her pulse, nodded, made a note. "I'm very sorry," she said. I didn't answer. I sat there for another 20 minutes, holding Laura's hand, watching the light fade outside. Karen came over, put her hand on my shoulder. "Jax," she said, soft. I let go, stood up, walked to the kitchen and poured a glass of water from the tap. The funeral was small. 15 people. Karen, a few cousins, some of Laura's old co-workers from the hospital. The pastor spoke for 10 minutes. I didn't listen. At the cemetery, I stood at the edge of the grave while they lowered the casket. The ground was cold, still half frozen. The sky was gray. I saw Abel. He was at the back, behind a row of headstones, wearing a dark coat. He didn't approach. He didn't wave. Just stood there, watching. When it was over, I walked to my truck. Abel was gone. The prosecutor's deal went through in January. Abel pled guilty to forgery and theft. No jail time. $4,200 restitution, paid in monthly installments of $350. 2 years probation. Mandatory counseling twice a week. I didn't go to the sentencing. Karen went, sent me a text afterward. He looked terrible, but he showed up. That's something. I didn't respond. In April, I put the house on the market, not through Coldwell Banker. A different agent, a woman named Claire who didn't ask questions. "It's a good house," she said, walking through. "Good bones. Needs some work, but the location's solid. I think we can get $410,000. That's fine. Any sentimental attachments I should know about?" I looked around. The kitchen where I'd set the 2 glasses. The living room where Abel had slept on the couch. The bedroom where Laura had died. "No," I said. "It sold in 3 weeks. Cash offer, $405,000. I signed the papers in Claire's office, took the check, deposited it. Then I packed. I didn't take much. Clothes, a few books, Laura's wedding ring, the box of legal files. Everything else, furniture, dishes, photo albums, I left for the buyer or donated. Karen helped. She didn't ask where I was going, just loaded boxes into her car and drove them to storage. "You don't have to disappear," she said, on the last day. "I'm not disappearing." "Then what are you doing?" I taped up the final box. "I don't know yet." She looked at me for a long time. "Call me when you get there. Wherever there is." "I will." She hugged me at the door, got in her car, and left. I stood on the porch, keys in my hand, and looked at the house one last time. The cottonwoods were starting to bud. The garage door was closed. The windows were dark. I locked the door, dropped the keys in the mailbox, and drove away. McCall is 2 hours north of Boise, tucked into the mountains near Payette Lake. I'd been there once with Laura, years ago before she got sick. She'd liked the quiet. I rented a cabin on the east side of the lake. Small, 1 bedroom, wood stove, no neighbors for half a mile. $800 a month. The landlord didn't ask for references. I moved in on May 1st, unpacked in an hour, set the box of files in the closet, didn't open it. The cabin had a porch that faced the water. I sat there most mornings drinking coffee, watching the light change on the mountains. Sometimes I saw deer, sometimes eagles. Once, a black bear, walking along the shoreline 50 yards away. The quiet was heavy at first, then it wasn't. In June, I got a letter. Handwritten, postmarked Boise. I recognized the handwriting. Abel. I set it on the kitchen table, unopened, and left it there for 3 days. On the 4th day, I opened it. Dad, I don't expect you to forgive me. I don't even know if I can forgive myself. But I want you to know I'm trying. I've been clean for 8 months. I'm working at a hardware store in Garden City. I'm still in counseling. It's hard, but I'm showing up. I think about Mom every day. I think about what I did. I'm sorry. I don't know what else to say. If you ever want to talk, I'm here. If you don't, I understand. Abel. I read it twice. Then I folded it, put it back in the envelope, and set it on the bookshelf next to Laura's wedding ring. I didn't respond. July. The cabin was hot during the day, cool at night. I started walking in the mornings, a loop around the lake, 3 miles. I didn't time it. I didn't track it. I just walked. One morning, I stopped at a clearing near the north shore. The water was still, reflecting the trees and the sky. I sat on a fallen log, watched a pair of loons dive and surface. My phone buzzed. A text from Karen, thinking about you. How's the lake? I typed back. Quiet. Good quiet or bad quiet? Just quiet. Okay? Call me if you need anything. I will. I put the phone away. The loons dove again, disappeared beneath the surface. I waited. They came up 50 feet away, calling to each other, low and echoing. I stood, walked back to the cabin. August. The landlord stopped by to check the roof. We talked for 10 minutes, mostly about weather. He didn't ask about Laura. He didn't ask why I was there. When he left, he said, "Place looks good. Let me know if you need anything." I will. That night, I sat on the porch with a glass of water. The sun was setting behind the mountains, turning the sky orange and purple. The lake was dark, smooth as glass. I thought about Abel's letter. I thought about Laura saying my name. I thought about the courtroom, the forged signatures, the 2 glasses on the table. I thought about the owls in Boise, the cottonwoods, the locked doors. I finished the water, set the glass on the porch railing, and watched the light fade. An owl called from the trees behind the cabin. Another answered, farther away. I closed my eyes, breathed in the cold air, the smell of pine and water. When I opened them, the stars were out. The next morning, I walked to the post office in town, bought a postcard, a stamp, wrote 3 words on the back. Keep going, Dad. I addressed it to Abel, care of the hardware store in Garden City. Dropped it in the blue mailbox outside. Then I walked back to the cabin. September came. The leaves started to turn. The mornings were cold. I chopped wood for the stove, stacked it on the porch. Karen called. How are you? Good. Really? Yeah. You sound different. Calmer. I didn't answer. She waited. I got a call from Abel's probation officer, she said. He's doing well, hasn't missed a session. Paid 3 months of restitution on time. Okay. Did you respond to his letter? Sort of. What does that mean? I sent him a postcard. What did it say? Keep going. She was quiet for a moment. That's good, Jax. Maybe. It is. We talked for a few more minutes. Then I said I had to go. She said she loved me. I said it back. That night, I sat on the porch again. The glass of water was on the railing where I'd left it the night before. I picked it up, held it to the light of the moon. Clear. Still. I drank it, rinsed the glass at the sink, and set it on the counter. Then I went to the bedroom, lay down, and closed my eyes. The owl called again. I didn't open my eyes. I just listened. And then I slept.